Hi everyone, so today we're going to be doing the week 3 math AMS quiz. So first question, it asks you which of the following defines a function. We already know that to find the function through graphs, we need to do the vertical line test. So that means if you draw a vertical line through each point, is there more than one point on each line? No, there is not, if it is a function. So here, if you draw a vertical line through each point, you're going to see that there is only one on each point. Here, for the second graph, no, there isn't, because see, it has to pass through 2 points when you draw a vertical line. So it's not a function. Here, if you see here, if you draw a line through here, or anything after this point, you're gonna get 2 points on this line, so it is not a function. Here, also, once you draw a line through here, there's 2 points on the same line through here. Like, see, if you draw through here, you're gonna get it twice, if not more. And here, no, it's fine. If you draw a vertical line, each one of these are on its separate line, so they are not on the same level. I mean on the same line, so it's a function. Okay, so for this question, it's asking you which of the following must be true, and they told you that FE is a diameter. So if FE is a diameter, it means that this angle here, or like this arc, is equal to 180. And we know this is right, so let's look at the options. EF is 180, we just said that this is 180 because it's a semicircle. EF 90, no. EF less than 180, no, because it's 180. EDF is a right angle. Why is this right? Or like correct? EDF is an inscribed, it's an angle that's inscribed in a semicircle, and it's inscribed. So here, if you draw a line, if you draw an angle through here, we already said that it's gonna be 180. Here's the angle, EOF, which is 180. So this angle, EDF, has to be, since it's like an intercepted or like an inscribed angle, it has to be half of whatever this angle is. So if this is 180, half of it is 90. See, 90 means it's a right angle, so that's your option. The rest are wrong. Okay, so for this shape here is called the cyclic quadrilateral, and there's like a few rules we need to memorize for this shape. First is that there's only one rule so far we know of, which is opposite angles in this shape have to be supplementary. So there's only two pairs of opposite angles, so there's only two answers. And they also told you there's only two answers. So L and N must be supplementary, and M and K must be supplementary. Any other answers are wrong. Let's see, L and N supplementary, K and N congruent? No. K and M congruent? No. K and M supplementary, see K, M, opposite, so yes, they are supplementary. M and N supplementary, no they are not. And K and L complementary, which means equaling to 90, no it's not. So next question. Okay, so again here we have another cyclic. So we know that this angle is opposite to this angle, which means, so these two angles, when you add them, they must be 180. So 180 minus 118 gives you 62, which is this angle. It's 62. And if this angle is 62, then this angle is what's it called? These two are forming a linear pair, so this angle plus this angle must also equal 180. So again, 180 minus 62 gives you 118. You could just say that this angle and this angle are congruent, but to avoid confusion, you do it again. So 180 minus 62, 118. So we know that this angle here is 118. So we write that down on just write it in your as a mental note. And we know that this is a triangle, so all three of them together must equal to 180. So we need to do 118 plus 38 plus y, because y is what we're trying to find, equals 180. And y here equals 24 once you solve all of this. Okay, so now for the next question. So here's the next question. We know we already mentioned that these angles all have to be half of these angles. So now let's see what they want. They want x plus y. So x is over here, here's x, and here's y. So x must be half of this angle and y must be half of this angle, and then you add them. So see, 84 divided by 2, 76 divided by 2, this is for x and this is for y, equals 80, and just put in your answer. Now next question. Okay, so we are going to be seeing a lot of these questions. Just know that this angle and this angle are equal to each other, they're congruent. So if you solve it, 2x plus 33 equals 5x, rearrange it around, 5x minus 2x equals 33, 3x equals 33, x equals 11. So here they told you PQRS is a cyclic. So we know that, again, these two angles must equal 180 and these two angles must equal 180. So if we do 180 minus this angle, we're going to get this one. 180 minus 78, as you can see, is 102. So next question. Like I said, a lot of these questions. So 2x plus 20 equals 3x. 2x plus 20 equals 3x. Just rewrite it again. 3x minus 2x equals 20 means x equals 20. So now next question. Here again we have another cyclic quadrilateral. But here we have to solve it a bit differently because we don't have any opposite angles to each other. So for this question, you have to see that this here is a triangle. Now we need to know that this is like this line over here is diameter because it's passing through the central, like the center of the circle. So the diameter makes the triangle into a semicircle. If it makes it into a semicircle, it means that this angle, like this arc, like this angle here, is equal to 180. So we know that anything opposite to it is 90 because, again, we've discussed it before in previous questions. So this is half of whatever this angle is. Since this is 180, this must be 90. So if this is 90, we can use the rule and find out your last angle which is opposite to it. So here 90, you know in a right triangle that these two angles here must equal 90. So 90 minus 38 gives you 52, as you can see here over here on the page I wrote. And if they're equal to 52, then this angle here, this is the 52 angle, and y is opposite to it. So now you need to do 118 minus the 52 to get the opposite angle, which is y, which equals to 128. So this question's easy, again. And now, next question. Okay, so for this question, we need to find the measurement of the angle CDA. This question is a bit like the one before it. We could see here that line AB is passing through the center, so it is a diameter. We know that this angle is 180, again, because it's a semicircle. So that this angle here, all of this, must be equal to 90. Here they gave you part of the 90, now you need to find this small part. You do this by just subtracting 90 minus 61. When you do that, you're gonna get that your angle is 29. Question's really easy, so next one. Here again, 6x equals 48, x equals 8. Here we go again. For this question, we know that they are equal to each other. So we know that x plus 55 equals 3x plus 45. Rearrange it around, 2x and move this to this side, it becomes 10. 2x equals 10, x equals 5. Okay, now we're in algebra. So which of the following options is true? So here's like the rules that if you see a polynomial that it's the set of all real numbers. Here they said except 8, so it's wrong. It has to be all real numbers. And if you see this question has the same equation, but it says whole numbers. So whole numbers are wrong. You need to say all real numbers. So for this option, is it all real numbers? No, it's not. Because since this is in the denominator, it can never, never, never be 0. So you need anything that makes this answer 0 is wrong. So it's not all real numbers. It's all real numbers except -1. Why? Because -1 makes this denominator 0, and you can't have a 0 denominator. So the domain of this function is the set of all real numbers greater than or equal to -5. So for anything under the radical sign, it can be 0, but it cannot be negative. So you need to find the answer that equals this to 0 and find it, and anything greater than that number is correct. So here you could see that -5 plus 5 equals 0. So -5 and above is right, greater than or equal to -5. But is it all the real numbers except -5? No, because if you say any number less than -5, it's going to give you a negative inside the radical sign, which is not allowed, so it's wrong. Now on to the next question. What's the smallest element in the domain of R? We know that the domain is the x, like it's what's the first value inside the ordered pair. So we need to just look at all the numbers at the first value, and we can see that 12 is your smallest one. 14 isn't, 17 isn't, 18 isn't, 19, 20, 21 are not smaller than 12. Okay, so a relation relates the age of members of a group to their heights. So which of the following describes the range? Is it the set of all real numbers? No, it's not, because you don't have all the numbers from 0 to infinity in this range. Is it the set of all integers between 155 and 180 inclusive? Don't get mixed up, look at all the heights. If you look at all the heights, you're gonna see that this height over here is 182, which is bigger than 180. So if this answer is only wrong because you have a number bigger than 180. It's the set of all real numbers between, and here it says integers. It's not integers, it's real numbers. But is it between 155 and 180? No. So if it said 155 and 182, your answer would be right, but it did not. It's the set of these values. These values are the exact same as these values over here. So yes, it's the subset of the set of integers between 150 and 190. Are all of these numbers bigger than 150 and less than 190? Yes, they all are. So this option is also right. So both of these two options are correct. Now moving on to the next question. What value must replace the question mark if y is a function? We know that each x has its unique y. So you can't have the number 3, let's say, having a different value than 15. So if you look closely here, there's two 5s. If one 5 has the value of 19, then the other 5 also has to carry the value of 19. So the answer here is 19. The function p is given by this equation, and it comes out of this set of domains. What's the value of p? -2. So if you replace, every time you see the letter t, replace it by the value -2. So 5, like here, 5 minus 3 times -2. So when you multiply these to get to 2 together, you're going to get that this is equal plus 6, because negative becomes plus, and 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 plus 6 is 11. So that's how you solve this question. Next one. The function of p is given by pt is equal to 10 minus t2. So for this, you have to do a little trick. You need to see if this sign in between is negative or positive. Here, if it's negative, you look at the set of numbers they gave you, look for the biggest negative number. So don't look for the biggest positive number. No, see, you have two negative numbers, -5 and -10. 10 generally is bigger than 5, so you do this one and you test it out, which 10 minus 2 times -10, -2 times -10 is positive, sorry, 10 is positive, is positive 20. And 10 plus 20 gives you the answer 30. So that's how you get this answer. Next question. So the function of radical x minus 10, which of the following must be in the domain of f? Like I said, you need to find what makes this 0 and that, and anything above it is only correct. So here, if you x minus 10 equals 0, so 10 minus 10 equals 0, so your x must be 10, or anything above 10. Because if you put 8, you're going to have -2. -2 can't be put inside the radical sign, so it is wrong. And 9 also is smaller than 10, it's going to give you -1, which is wrong. 10 gives you 0, which is okay. 12 gives you 2, which is also okay. 11 gives you 1, which is also okay to have inside the radical sign. Now, next question. What number is not in the domain of G? So we know that here G is anything that has x, so you substitute any value of x every time you see the letter x. But now they're asking us which value can you not substitute. So anything you substitute in the numerator is fine, it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna put the numerator out, we don't care about it now. You have to look at the denominator always. You need to see what value makes this denominator 0, because you're not allowed to have that value. So you need to equal this to 0, and you're gonna see 2x equals 28, x equals 14. So what that means is that if you replace x by 14, you're gonna get the denominator to be 0, which is not allowed. You cannot have 0 denominator. Anything less than 14 or anything higher than 14 is allowed, but 14 is not. So question 21, which of the following functions has a domain equal to the set of real numbers? All real numbers. So for this question, just look for anything that does not have a restriction, let's say. So you can't have x bigger than or something like 0. You look for any option that doesn't have this. Any option without something like this is correct because it has no restrictions. See, this has nothing and this has nothing, so these two are your correct options. Now let's go on to the next question. Okay, so I'm gonna make this bigger to show the question. Sorry, make it smaller, I mean. So the function u is given by this equation. Again, for this one, you're not allowed to have 0 in the denominator ever. So here you have to factor this out. Like when you factor it out, you need to, we've all taken factoring before. You just need to see which two numbers, when you add them, when you multiply them, give you 3, and when you add them, give you -4. So I've already factored it out. It's x minus 3 and x minus 1. So you cannot have anything that equals to 0. So if it's 3 here, you're gonna multiply whatever is here by 0, because 3 minus 3 is 0, which gives you a final answer of 0, so you cannot have that. And if your answer here is 1, it's gonna make this 0, which when you multiply to whatever is in here, makes it 0, which you cannot have that. So x cannot be 1 and 3. So all real numbers different from 1 and 3. Now, next question. Okay, so for this question, you need to replace every time you see the letter x by -5. So -5, here I've written it down, actually. Okay, so if you look over here, -5 times what they told you, -5 squared, minus 4 times -5 plus 9. Once you solve this, you're going to get that it's -5 times 25, because the negative sign gets cancelled out with the exponent. So -5 times 25 gives you 125, and -4 times -5 gives you +20, and the +9 you can't change it. And once you add and subtract all of these together, you're going to get your final answer to be 96. So yeah, now the last question. Okay, so this question is part of our IGCSE book. It's giving you a graph, and it's telling you that all the students under A, they play tennis. So I'm just gonna write T beside A to like not get confused. Okay, my handwriting is terrible. Okay, so T, all the students in B play basketball. I'm just gonna underline B because it is B. And C is football. So now you start solving, and you see. The first question is asking you the students who play only tennis. So you need to see which students only play tennis. So if you know the Venn diagram, you know that the 7 here, it means that both A and B play tennis. And this means all three of them play all three sports. Like these people play all three sports. These people play tennis and football. These people play basketball and football. So you need to know the people who only play tennis, which is 9, because 9 is only for tennis. So yeah, so see, number of students who play tennis is 9 students. Now the students who play basketball in general, not only basketball, they never said only basketball, they said basketball. So you take your like, just draw it on your paper maybe, and put a circle around this, which is everything B, and every number you see inside this value in this circle, add it. So 7 plus 2 gives you 9, plus 3 gives you 12, plus 10, 22. So if you go down, the number of people who play basketball is 22 students. Now the number of students, okay, I'm gonna erase my notations, or like my, yeah. Okay, so now it's telling you the number of students in A intersecting with B union C. Now first, I'm gonna highlight B union C. So everything in here and in here is B union C. So I'm just gonna shade it really quick. So yeah, everything here is B union C. Union just means add the two places like together. And yeah, now it's telling you A intersecting this. Intersecting means only common parts. Only the common parts. So the common parts you have, I'm gonna use another highlighter to draw A, to like highlight in A. A is only this circle. So you're gonna see later on what we're gonna do. So intersecting A union B means everywhere you see that has both highlighter colors overlapping is your answer. So 7 and 2 and 2. So this area is your answer. So you have to add any numbers in this blue area. Now I'm gonna remove all the highlighters so you can see what are the numbers. So you're seeing these numbers, 7 and 2 and 2. So when you add it, 7 plus 2 gives you 9, plus 2 gives you 11. So as you can see, 11 is your answer. And that's the week 3 quiz. And bye.